Good afternoon. It is Monday, July 14th, and you're looking at two houses on the property of Fort Morgan. These probably dated back to after the Civil War. Don't believe they would have made it through the Civil War. Anyway, this is a peninsula that jets out and forms the mouth of Mobile Bay. Over to the right, as I pan the camera, you're going to see bunkers and grassy areas that make up the fort. It is closed right now, so we can't get into it. But if you caught yesterday's talk, I discussed Mobile Bay, the top of it being fed by the Mobile River Delta. It's about 30 miles long and somewhere between 8 and 13 miles wide. The average depth of the bay is about 9 feet, and there is a dredged shipping channel that's 51 feet deep. Yesterday I talked about the Battle of Mobile Bay and Fort Morgan being one of two forts that were built before the Civil War to protect the city of Mobile from raiders or other navies. I'm going to pan the camera across Mobile Bay, the mouth of the bay, over to what is Dauphin Island, across the way. That's about 3 miles. And on Dauphin Island, there's a fort known as Fort Gaines. And so these two forts were designed to protect the city of Mobile, Mobile Bay. And in my talk yesterday, I mentioned Admiral David Farragut of the Union Navy and his attack on the bay, running through a minefield that had been run off of, I believe, right here at Fort Morgan and out into the bay by the Confederate Army and I guess Navy to actually reduce the width of which they had to protect the mouth of the bay, the channel, and this would allow them to focus their guns really just on the channel of the bay. They didn't think anybody would be crazy enough to run through probably shallow ground and in the minefield that was established, but Farragut saw probably an opportunity that if he could get a ship or two through the minefield and clear it for the rest of his ships, he could avoid getting cannonballs in all of his ships. So that's what he did. He took some damage on some of his first ships, but ultimately it allowed him to carry out the battle with the Confederate, I think they were Ironside ships, and within a few hours the Confederate Navy surrendered. One thing I did not talk about yesterday in my talk, and you can see it clearly from here, one thing, there's a I want to say this car ferry that moves between the 2 points of Fort Gaines and Fort Morgan. I'm trying to see if I can put it in view of the camera right now as it's going back from Fort Morgan across, going west to Fort Gaines to Dauphin Island. But Mobile or Alabama's waters, coastal waters, is home to oil and gas reserves, deposits, and you can see a few of the platforms right here. I believe these are just all gas platforms, but the state gets royalties from the oil companies that are drilling for either oil or natural gas. There's quite a few of them in the bay. I think they're going as deep as 3 or 4 miles into earth. The bay here is probably only 9 feet. Out here on a dock, got some tourists walking around taking pictures, got some people fishing. It's about 6 o'clock. Off in the distance where that boat is and that orange boat marker, navigational marker, and the distance behind it is the Dauphin Island Bridge. And we got a barge or two and a push boat coming up in the channel right here between Fort Morgan and Fort Gaines. Mobile is a port city. It has container facilities to offload and load containers onto ships, put them onto rail or truck. We have an interstate system, I-10 going east and west across the country, and I-65 starting here in Mobile and going north to Chicago. Rail system, I believe, also goes to Chicago. It's a pretty good infrastructure for any company that's wanting to manufacture something or bring something into Mobile and ship it inland. The state has the facilities to do that. As a kid, I grew up fishing out here. Had a boat. We were on friends' boats, and we fished along the Dauphin Island Bridge or around the Fort Gaines or out in the Gulf of Mexico. It's got a nice little breeze right now, and temperature's dropping again. Like most ports, they have in the past they had a lighthouse, and you can't see the lighthouse from here, but I will relocate over on the Gulf side and take a picture of the Alabama Lighthouse. It used to have a island around it, sand island, that moves with currents, and sometimes it moves up against the lighthouse, which stands in the middle or on the side of the channel, the shipping channel. So going back to the fort, all sorts of, I think the battery, which is right behind the houses here. And I'll stop the video for right now and set up on the beach overlooking the Gulf of Mexico. All right, we've relocated. We're now at the Secour Wildlife Refuge, and I happened to catch a ship coming into the city of Mobile's port and up into the bay that stayed around by Fort Morgan on the pier and waited. I would have caught this ship, gotten it a little closer. But anyway, hopefully you can make it out. It's a pretty big ship. It's passing through some oil platforms, gas platforms. And I'm standing in some sugary white sand that the Alabama beaches are known for. Sugary white sand beaches. Your feet squeak when you move through them. Off to the left, right in the middle now, should be a very small object to you, but that is the Alabama Lighthouse. It's been out there before the Civil War. I'm guessing maybe 1830s. Somebody used to have a house at the base of it, and somebody lived there probably around the clock to help navigate the ships into the channel so they could make their way up into the port. Got some people out here enjoying the beach and the water. Kind of a pretty cloudy day, but off to the west you can see what's probably going to be a pretty neat looking sunset. I have sand dunes kind of in between me and what I see developing, but it ought to be pretty. It's kind of some reds and pinks. That sun kind of in the shot I'm looking at right now, it's kind of right over the tree lines, right over the dunes and sea oats. It's nice right here. It's pretty. So you see these gas platforms. The oil platforms may be now further off the coast, We all think of the BP Deepwater Horizon explosion and oil spill, and the Gulf of Mexico, for whatever reason, foots the bill for the rest of America to enjoy oil and gas, and much of the East Coast, the West Coast has oil, has gas, but states deny oil companies the right to buy leases and to drill, and that's their prerogative. Got some beach goers out here. Seagulls flying. Some more platforms. This is kind of to the southeast. We're in a protected area of the National Wildlife Refuge system this is Secour, and you got to stay off the dunes, and after dark you got to be out of here. So I'm gonna go back to this sunset real quick. Kind of wish I would have stayed over there, Fort Morgan. I'll have to do it again another day. But we see these different colors. I mean, the blue sky, the white clouds. You got these purple, dark purple clouds, and then this, orange and red, yellows in the sky. I mean, it's just beautiful. Y'all having fun today?
Yes. How about you?
Yes. Y'all gotta go see that sunset. Y'all need to get down to Fort Morgan and watch the sunset over here. Oh, y'all did? Okay. Good. Where y'all from?
Dallas.
Dallas, Texas. Very good.
What about you?
I'm from Daphne.
Okay.
Grew up in Mobile.
I grew up in Gulf Coast, Florida.
You did?
Yeah.
Well, good. Did you see the Blue Angels? They were great. They flew Saturday. They were good. Have a good day. All right. Good therapy is to have the wind blowing through your hair. Let it do that for 10-20 minutes. That's as good as a massage. All right, we're going to end the talk for today. I'm glad you took the time to listen and see some of the sights. Appreciate your time. Thank you and goodbye.